All right, so while I am still sitting outside doing some lessons, I'm going to go ahead and read a couple more chapters because this is getting good. All right, chapter 15. An hour after Grandma and I got home, I heard the familiar squeaky sound of Trevor's storm door. He was back from the library. Talking to the Trevor at the library felt so normal, like we'd never gotten into a fight at all. It was a relief to be able to talk out loud about Marcus with somebody other than Grandma. I went outside, Butternut following behind me. I found Trevor sitting on his side of the porch steps holding his new library book. Hey, I sat down across from him on my side of the steps. Butternut found a patch of sun and lay down on it. What's up? Trevor flashed a quick smile. How was the rest of the library? I asked. Good. I hung out on the computers after you left. Nice. After a long pause, I said, I'm ready to tell you why I've been mad at you. Ooh, yay. Trevor put his book down. Okay. I took a deep breath. Started when you joined the basketball team. That was at the beginning of 6th grade last year. Trevor had always said that he wanted to join the team when he got to middle school, and that's exactly what he did. You're mad that I joined the team? Trevor asked. You knew I was going to. I didn't think you'd start ignoring me. I didn't. Yes, you did. You didn't talk to me as much at school. I couldn't, he said. I had to talk to the guys on the team too, and you were hanging out with Maya and Jasmine. You were the one ignoring me. What are you talking about? I asked. During the summer, it always felt like it's always the two of us. But when school starts, you go back to Jasmine and Maya, and it's like I don't matter to you anymore. Wow. Was that really how Trevor felt? I did spend a lot of time with Jasmine and Maya during the school year since we didn't see each other during the summer, but that didn't mean I didn't care about Trevor. You still mattered, I mumbled. I didn't feel like it, Trevor said. Well, what about you? I asked, remember why I was out here in the first place. You've been pretending to be my friend this whole time. Trevor looked up at me, his face a big question mark. He had no idea what I was talking about. I took another deep breath. I heard you guys last month. Heard who? You, Sean, and Lincoln? You were here on the porch after school. I was sick, so I stayed home all day. I was in the living room, and the window was open, so I could hear everything. You guys couldn't see me because I was lying on the couch. I remember the huge pile of used tissues that littered the coffee table and how Butternut stayed near me the whole day, like he knew I was sick and needed a friend. I was in a cold medicine haze when Trevor and the others' boys woke me up, but I heard them loud and clear. Zoe Washington lives on the other side of this house, right? It was Sean's voice, which I recognized right away since he had a thick Boston accent. When he said my name, it sounded like Washington. I didn't dare move from my position on the couch so they wouldn't know that I was right on the other side of the window from them. Yeah, Trevor said. What's with her? Sean asked. I couldn't see his face, but I could picture him scowling. What do you mean? Trevor asked. Why'd she have to tell Mr. Peters that I started that fight with Will? Sean asked. I didn't even start it. Trevor didn't say a word. Yeah, why'd she have to open her big mouth about it? Lincoln said. Nobody asked her. Exactly, Sean said. She thinks she's better than everyone, but she's really a loser. Then Lincoln asked, did you hear what she did in gym class one time? She fell when we were playing basketball. I was there. She tripped over nothing, her own feet. She looked ridiculous. But then later I tripped her on purpose, and she fell again. Oh yeah, that was wicked funny, Sean said. I heard laughter. There were definitely more than two voices in the mix, and Trevor's laugh was unmistakable. My eyes stung with tears, and there was no holding them back. It sucks that you have to live right next to her, Sean said. It's got to be so annoying to hear her whiny voice every day, right? Do you go inside?
No, I need the garage door open.
Well, then you gotta go this way. It's gotta be so annoying to hear her whiny voice every day, right? Trevor paused for a second, and I waited for him to say no, and that I was his best friend. But instead he said, yeah, I guess. There was a pause, and then he said, we're not really friends. We hang out sometimes during the summer when I have nothing better to do. It was a punch to my gut. I got up and ran to my room, burying myself under my covers while I sobbed. All this time, I thought Trevor was one of my best friends, but I'd been wrong. I recapped all of this to Trevor, who now stared at me with a pained expression on his face. I had no idea you heard that, he said. I didn't mean it, any of it. I was mad at you because you were always with Jasmine and Maya, and I didn't know what to say when the guys asked, but it's not true. I only told Mr. Peters about the fight because he asked me what I saw. I didn't want to lie to him. Trevor nodded. Nobody forced you to hang out with me, I said, my voice cracking. You didn't have to do me any favors. I didn't, Trevor said. I like hanging out with you a lot. The summer's always my favorite. You're my best friend. I'm really sorry. If that's true, why would you let those guys say stuff about me? I asked. I don't know. Trevor paused and glanced down at his sneakers. I wanted to fit in, I guess. It was wrong. I wanted to accept his apology and forget it all happened. Get back to our friendship and summer adventures like nothing had changed. But it was like when you draw something in pencil and then try to erase it. The pencil lines would mostly go away, but sometimes the indent would still be there. So you could still see sort of what had been erased. That's how Trevor's apology felt. Like he was trying to erase my pain by saying he was sorry, but he couldn't make it all disappear. Do you believe me? Trevor swallowed hard. I keep remembering what you said. we're not really friends. I need more time to get over it. Trevor nodded. Guess I'll see you later. I got up from the porch steps. Later, Trevor said, his mouth turned up in a small smile. Maybe the pencil marks could be erased, but at some point he could decide to turn a new page.
Daddy a rainbow one.
That's amazing.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's amazing.
Do anything interesting today? Dad asked me during dinner that night. Not really, I lied and chewed on a piece of asparagus. How's your internship been going? Mom asked. Good. What kinds of things have you been doing? She asked. I don't want to talk about it right now, I said. What I really wanted to talk about was Marcus, but if I brought him up, Mom would just shut me down again. All right, Mom said. She started talking to Dad about something that happened at work, and I stopped paying attention. I ate a couple more bites of salmon and rice and then asked to be excused. But in my room with the door closed, I searched for more information about Marcus and his case, but the other articles I found repeated the same stuff I already knew. None of them mentioned anything about an alibi witness. I even searched for Marcus's name with the words alibi witness after it, in case I missed something, but no real results came up. Why was that? I needed to know if Marcus was telling me the truth. If he was, I could keep writing to him and keep getting to know him. But if he was lying about this, then I couldn't trust him.
Could you sit it up?
For the longest time, I didn't care whether or not I knew my birth father. I had my parents, and they were all I needed. But his letters were making me realize that there had always been a piece of me missing, like a chunk of my heart. I was finally filling in that hole. Marcus seemed to care about me. He actually wanted to know about my life, and he liked cooking. I probably got my love of baking from him. What else could I have inherited from him? I wanted to find out. There was only one way I could think of how to know whether or not he was really innocent, and that was to find the alibi witness. If I could find the person who was with Marcus when Lucy was killed and could prove it, then I'd be able to believe that he really didn't do it and that he was who he said he was. I'd find Marcus's alibi witness and the truth.
I made it a shark with the green shark.
I can't wait to come see your green shark. Chapter 16.
You can
There was
see
one
it
person who knew
now.
all of the details of Marcus's case, and maybe even the alibi witness's name, Anthony Miller, Marcus's lawyer.
You can see it right now.
Okay, 1 second. When I searched online for his name, I found a website with a list of public defenders. Mr. Miller's name was on the list. I read through the website and figured out that he was assigned to Marcus because Marcus couldn't afford his own lawyer. The contact page only listed a general email address and phone number for the law office. I sent an email to the general address asking for information about the case, about an alibi witness, anything that might prove that Marcus was really innocent. I didn't mention that I was a 12-year-old. Now I needed to write Marcus and tell him about my plan. I opened my desk drawer and took out my stationery. July 27th. Dear Marcus, how are you? I'm good. I can't believe the summer is already halfway over. What?
Are you going to see?
I am in just a second. Let me finish this chapter. Go add some more to the picture. Go add some more details.
No.
How are you? I'm good. I can't believe the summer is already halfway over. I'm sorry it took me a while to write back. When I read your last letter, I thought you were lying to me. I didn't think innocent people went to prison. But now I know that it does happen. I really want to believe you, but I barely know you. I haven't even heard your voice before, so how am I supposed to know for sure? I thought of one way. Can you tell me the name of the alibi witness? Then I could find them and hear their side of the story. If I could do that, and they said they remembered you from the day of the crime, I'd feel so much better.
Mommy.
Though I feel sad that you've been in prison all this time for no reason. Have you heard of the Innocence Project? I read about them at the library. If you're really innocent, maybe they could get you out of prison. I paused writing and got out Marcus's last letter from my backpack. I uncrumpled it and smoothed it out, then reread it. The last song he'd sent was Water Runs Dry by Boyz II Men, so I played it on my phone and picked up my pen again. I'm listening to the Boyz II Men song right now. Wow, their voices are so good. This might be my favorite on my Little Tomatoes playlist so far. Send more, please. I can't believe you like to cook. What's your favorite recipe? Do you know one of your mom's recipes by heart? It's just like reading in the classroom, isn't it? What?
I'm going to give you a popsicle.
I don't want a popsicle, but thank you.
How about also you are done with your book?
Okay, maybe when I'm done with my book, I'll have a popsicle. Thank you. Go draw me another picture.
Oh, but I can't.
Okay, then just don't stand on your tablet. You're going to break it. I can't believe you like to cook. What's your favorite recipe? Do you know one of your mom's recipes by heart? Maybe I can try to make it myself. It's so cool that you get to work in the kitchen at the prison. I guess I thought you stayed in a cell all day. Do you get to do nothing else? My baking internship is going well. I decided to make up a totally new cupcake recipe, so maybe Ariana will sell it at her shop.
Mommy,
Can you think of a unique ingredient that would be good in a cupcake? I don't want one right now, though.
How about, do you like oranges?
Yes, I do.
So I'm going to give you an orange one.
Okay. But in 5 minutes. I thought of something. It was possible Marcus had never seen a picture of me. I found an extra wallet-sized...
2 minutes?
Okay, 2 minutes. I found an extra wallet-sized print of my 6th grade photo in my desk drawer. I didn't always like my school.
That takes it 2 minutes.
Okay, go get me a popsicle. I didn't always like my school photos, but that one had turned out pretty good. I liked the purple sweater I was wearing, and my half-up, half-down hairstyle looked nice. I put extra shea buttercream on it so my curls wouldn't frizz. Here's my recent school picture. I thought you might like to see what it looked like now. Right back soon, Zoe. I put the letter in its envelope and stuck it back in my hiding spot. Tomorrow I'd give it to Grandma to mail. I got up to grab a glass of water from the kitchen, but then something else gnawed at me. It was my school photo. It reminded me of Lucy Hernandez's picture from the article. I hadn't looked her up before, but now I wanted to know more about her. I opened my computer again and searched for her name. I skimmed through the results. Oh, don't open it. Just leave it right there. Thank you. Mommy will eat it in just a minute. Leave it right there for me. Thank you.
Could I have another one?
No. You can have my orange one. Okay. They were all articles about how Lucy had died. It was awful. When you looked up a person, you were supposed to see stories about their life, not their terrible death. Then I found a memorial page for her. It was a really simple website with a few photos of her on top.
Do you like Shelly too?
I do. But you have my popsicle. That's fine. And
So
one she wore a cheerleading uniform, and another showed her with a bunch of...
you could have an orange one in 5 minutes?
Yes.
Okay.
In one, she wore a cheerleading uniform, and the other showed her with a bunch of other cheerleaders on a football field. Below the photos was an area where her friends and family could post messages. Some of them were in Spanish. As I read through them, my eyes filled with tears. People loved her a whole lot, and she seemed like a really nice person. I thought about how I'd feel if anything happened to Jasmine or Maya or Trevor and my throat would break up. Lucy didn't deserve to die. If Marcus was guilty, why did he do it? I hope with every inch of my heart that Marcus wasn't responsible, and that was all a big mistake.
Could you put the headphones on?
I'd be happy to put your headphones on you. There you go. Yep.
And could you put...
Yep, I got you, boo. Okay. When I handed Grandma my letter to the mail the next day, it hit me. She was around when Marcus was arrested and when he had his trial. Maybe she knew stuff about the case that I couldn't find online, like why none of the articles mentioned his alibi or a witness. Grandma, can I ask you something? Of course, she said. I took a deep breath. In his last letter, when Marcus told me he's innocent, were you surprised? I knew she'd read it before she gave it to me. Well, he told me he was going to tell you that. He did? Yes. Grandma said, I know I'm going behind your parents to let you write him, but I still want to keep you safe. I wrote to him and asked him to call me so we could talk about him writing to you. You talked to him on the phone? I was dying to know what Marcus's voice sounded like. Grandma nodded. It was a quick phone call. He couldn't stay on long, but it was long enough for me to make sure that he isn't trying to hurt you in any way. Oh. After a few moments of silence, Grandma asked, is there something else you want to know? Oh yeah, hold on. I ran to my room to grab my journal. When I got back to the living room, I sat next to Grandma on the couch. I opened to all the notes I'd taken about Marcus' case and the Innocence Project. Marcus told me he had an alibi, I said, but I couldn't find anything about it online. Do you think he's telling the truth? He told me the same thing after he was arrested, Grandma said. Here, let me grab a cup of tea, and then I'll tell you what I know. Ooh! Okay, I was going to stop there, but I need to know what Grandma knows, okay? Chapter 17. After Marcus was arrested, Grandma began once she was back and settled on the couch with a mug of ginger tea. I visited him at the prison a couple of times before he went on trial. Your mom didn't want to see him, but I had to. I had to look him in the eyes and hear what happened in his own words. That's when he told me about his alibi. What was it? I asked. He was at a tag sale, Grandma said. For real, like somebody's house? Grandma nodded. He said he saw some ad online and emailed the lady before going over there. Why wasn't she part of the trial, I asked. None of the articles I found talked about her. Marcus's lawyer never brought her to court. I scrunched my eyebrows. Why not? The lawyer never even looked for her. Grandma sipped her tea. In the letter, Marcus only said that his lawyer couldn't prove his innocence. Not that he never looked for the alibi witness. It didn't make any sense. Why not? She could have told everyone that Marcus was somewhere else when the crime took place. Exactly, Grandma said. She could have really helped Marcus's case. But you know, he didn't have the money to pay for a big shot lawyer after he was arrested.
But does that spell mommy?
That spells Fant. That's our last name. He had to use the defense lawyer assigned to him for free, and this lawyer, she shook her head. To me, it was like he didn't care one bit about what happened to Marcus. Why not, I asked. Didn't he want to win the case? Grandma exhaled. He got paid either way, so I'm not sure it mattered. He seemed completely biased against Marcus. He wanted him to plead guilty and take a deal, but Marcus refused. What do you mean by biased? I asked. I think he saw a black man being charged with murder and saw no reason to believe he was actually innocent. Grandma explained. He went through the motions of defending him in court without putting in any real work. That's terrible, I huffed. I thought of my email to Mr. Miller and wondered what he'd say when he replied, if he replied at all. Do you think Marcus is really innocent, I asked. Grandma put her mug down on the coffee table. Yes, I do. I blinked at her, surprised at how confident she sounded. You do? Yes, Grandma repeated. Marcus dated your mom for 2 years, and I got to know him pretty well. He never seemed like a violent person. He was always so polite and respectful, and such a gentleman to your mom. You could tell he really respected her, she laughed. Your mom would take forever to get ready for date. She'd be in the bathroom singing along to some song, putting on makeup or whatever. Anyway, instead of waiting outside in the car, Marcus would come inside and talk to your granddad and me. He talked about college, said he wanted to travel. One time he helped your granddad fix a leaky pipe under the sink while he waited for Natalie to get ready. He got his shirt all dirty, so he had to run back home and get a new one. Wow, I said. There's this quote from Maya Angelou, Grandma said. When someone shows you who they are, believe them. That quote usually refers to when someone shows you their bad side. But I think it's also true when someone shows you how good they are. I really do think Marcus is a good person. I don't see how he was capable of killing someone. I always trust my gut, and my gut has always said to believe him. I nodded, feeling a little bit more hopeful. Then I don't get it, I said. Why did the court think he could have killed someone? The prosecutor told this one story about Marcus. Grandma began, but then she shook her head. Never mind. What? You have to tell me. Grandma exhaled again. There was one time when Marcus was a senior. He got into a fist fight with another player at a basketball game. What happened? The other player provoked Marcus, got him mad enough to fight. Your granddad wasn't too happy when he heard about this, so the next time he saw Marcus, he asked him for an explanation. Marcus said that the other player, who was white, called him the N-word while they were playing, under his breath, but nobody else could hear him. I knew exactly what word she meant. Mom and Grandma had talked to me about it. Racist people use it, and sometimes other black people call each other that, which wasn't racist but wasn't great. My parents had told me that I should never use the word, and to tell them if anyone ever called me that. I never heard anyone say it about me. When the white kid called Marcus that, Grandma said, Marcus got really mad. Of course he did, so that's what started the fight. A lot of people were at the game and they all saw it. The white kid, he was the star player of the other team, so a lot of people took his side. With all the racism around Boston, people weren't about to take a black kid over a white kid's word. Every once in a while, I'd overhear my parents talk about how racist Boston was. I noticed it myself too. Like all the times people gave Dad and me the look. Once I went to a fancy clothing store on Newberry Street with Mom, and the sales lady started following us around the store, looking at us like she didn't trust us with the merchandise. As soon as Mom noticed what was going on, she pulled me out of the store. I'm not giving them my business, she told me. I had no idea where the idea of black people as thieves came from, but it wasn't the first time something like that had happened. In 4th grade, a girl told me that I wasn't invited to her birthday party because her parents said black people would steal. I said her parents didn't know what they were talking about. After I told my mom, she stopped herself from cursing out loud and said she didn't want me going to that racist family house anyway. Did Marcus say what the other kid called him? I asked Grandma. Nobody else heard it, but I believed him, and your granddad did too. She paused and then said, anyway, when Marcus was later accused of the crime, the prosecutors told that story, used it against him, and said he had a violent past. But getting into a fight isn't the same thing as killing someone. I squeezed a corner of my pillow between my fingers. And the other kid called him the N-word. I know, but it was up to the jury, and they decided that Marcus was capable of all kinds of violence, even the worst kind. She sighed. People look at someone like Marcus, a tall, strong, dark-skinned boy, and they make assumptions about him, even if it isn't right. The jury, the judge, the public, even his own lawyer, they all assumed Marcus must be guilty because he's black. It's all part of systemic racism.
I'm going
It's
to
not
get
fair.
you a red pot.
Okay. I know, baby, Grandma said, her expression sad. I thought about all of this. Why did Mom want to see him in prison before the trial? She was really mad at him. Why? Because Marcus was friends with the victim, Lucy. That's right. Marcus and Lucy were spending a lot of time together because they were in the same study group. Your mom thought something more was going on. Marcus said there wasn't, but your mom, she had her doubts. It was tough for them. He stayed in Boston for college, and she went down to New York. It wasn't a huge distance, but it was still hard on their relationship. I nodded, remembering how I'd read that some people even thought Marcus and Lucy were dating before she died. Your mom wanted to believe he was innocent, but when the prosecution brought a witness into court who said he'd seen Marcus leaving Lucy's place around the time of the murder, she started having doubts. I did too, to be honest, but Marcus insisted it wasn't him. Eyewitnesses get it wrong all the time. Grandma continued. Plus, the crime happened after your mom found out she was pregnant with you. She poked my nose, like she used to when she was a little kid, or when I was a little kid, and smiled for a second. She was so mad at Marcus, Grandma said, for spending time with that girl in the first place, for getting arrested and leaving her alone.
It's orange, it's mine.
Okay. for getting arrested and leaving her alone when she was already scared about having a baby so young. The whole mess broke her heart. Then he was convicted, and I think she decided it was easier to believe he did it, let him go, and move on. When Grandma explained it like that, I felt some sympathy for Mom. It must have been really hard for her. Come here. Come closer. Boop. Do you think Marcus could get out of prison if we found the witness? I asked Grandma. I don't know. She put her hand on top of mine. I'm telling you all of this because you deserve to hear the truth, but I don't want you to get wrapped up into it. You're only a kid. Even if Marcus is innocent, the chances of him getting out are slim. Who knows where this woman is, and getting a new lawyer would be too expensive. But I wasn't only a kid, and just because it wasn't easy didn't mean I couldn't get it done. Dad had always told me that when I had a hard time on a school project, and he was always right. Sometimes that homework wasn't easy at all, but I always got it done. Most of the time I got a better grade on it than I expected. If Marcus really didn't do it, I said, my voice solemn, then it means somebody else did. That person should be in prison, not Marcus. Grandma put her arm around my shoulder and squeezed. You're right. This isn't only about Marcus. It's also about justice for Lucy. The poor girl's family deserves to see her actual murderer behind bars. Do you think there's any chance Marcus can get out of prison and that they'll find the real murderer? There's always hope, Grandma said, but that doesn't mean it's enough to make change. I followed Marcus's case, and he tried to appeal the verdict a few months later, but the appeal was denied. At this point, if Marcus is innocent, he needs more than hope to get out of prison anytime soon. He needs a miracle. A miracle. I had a lot of work ahead of me. Ooh. So, if you're following along, this book is dealing with a lot of social issues. Think about if you can read them. My new plan is that for the last couple chapters, I am going to go live, and we're going to have a Zoom meeting, book club for the last couple chapters. So, keep up to date, keep up with it. Enjoy. It's really good. I'll try to read some more later because I want to know.